Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You're tuning in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start this off the same way we start off every show, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, so the fact that you're spending with us really does mean the world to me. Because, like I said, you guys are busy people, so thank you very much. Now, on that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cotton, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, so we are back. Now we're starting this show off the same way we do every show. I've got a banger of a guest. I have no idea about the background story of this person, like most people, which makes me extremely excited. As per usual, I do not introduce my guests because they can do a better job than I can. So on that note, hello, how are you doing? And can you please introduce yourself to the people at home?
For sure. Thanks for having me. My name is Jennifer Aulenbach. I'm a mobile mortgage specialist with CIBC. Mom of three, wife, of course, and a grandmother of one.
Okay, cool. All right, so first off, what is a mobile specialist? What does that mean?
Well, right now it doesn't really apply because we're not mobile. We're because of COVID. But yes, mobile means that I can actually come to them to meet them at their home office if it means, or meet them at one of the branches for any of their mortgage needs that they may have.
Interesting. Oh, that's super convenient.
Yeah, it makes
So they
it
don't have to
super.
go into the bank.
No, so I can actually come to their home. So if they have little ones, it makes it super, super convenient. Right now, due to COVID, we are
Right.
obviously not going into people's homes or meeting in the branches,
That's right.
just due to traffic, because I bring in a lot of volume into the branch. So
Okay.
right now, they just have us doing all our appointments virtually.
Okay.
So it's right over the phone.
And so what are mortgages looking like nowadays?
Things are great. Interest rates are still really low.
How
so
low? What's really low? What are we talking about? Average, obviously.
Well, it depends on what terms or variables, but some can be still below the 2% right now, so which is awesome. So it gives you that flexibility to have lock in a good rate.
Okay. As some people know at home, I'm addicted to real estate.
Oh,
I
awesome.
live on MLS. I used to own a number of properties here in town and outside of Fort McMurray in my 20s. I really like real estate. So what you're talking about in regards to mortgage rates and your terms and stuff is very near and dear to my heart.
Awesome.
That's great. That's a pretty low rate now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's been fantastic. It's definitely done a lot of great things for our market here.
Yeah.
So we're definitely busy. And I think across Canada as well. It's definitely, the real estate industry is definitely driving a really good market.
Yeah.
Hmm
I'm old. As most people at home know now, I'm older, I should say. I remember when I was paying upwards like 5.8 or maybe 6.2 at one time.
hmm
Wow.
I know it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's a great time to buy. So it's a great
Yes.
time to meet with someone, get a pre-approval, lock in your rate. So while they're shopping, they can do that. At CIBC, we have some other cashback mortgages as well. So we can give you some cashback if there's some furniture you want to buy. So obviously that changes the interest rate a little bit, but
Right.
it definitely, instead of going out and spending money on a credit card and then trying to figure out a way to pay it off, this is a great way to do it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now you just said a very important word, which is pretty common to you and I, but for first-time home buyers out there, maybe even Tanner sitting behind the computer one day, we'll see. Um, Pre-approved. So let's talk about being pre-approved because it was one of those things where I kind of knew to do it earlier. Go to the bank, find out what you can get before you go out there. But can you talk a little bit for the people at home who don't know what getting pre-approved means?
Sure. So pre approval means that you actually, first off, it's really important to figure out, do your rate shopping first. So figure out which bank you want to deal with from that standpoint, and hopefully it is with CIBC. So figuring out which bank, because oftentimes what happens is if you have everyone pulling your credit, that could be detrimental to you. So it's really important to figure out who you want representing you from a mortgage standpoint, which bank you want to do, what's the different products or services that we offer. And then from there is sitting down with an individual, obviously over the phone in this case, and figuring out exactly what it is you qualify for, right? So
Right.
getting income documentation, doing credit checks. We'll go through your assets, liability. So we'll figure out how much saved do you have, what's your debt, what kind of debt you're carrying, and get some coaching from that standpoint if you're ready to purchase. Because, I mean, it's great to go out and go check out houses and then fall in love with a house. But then if you find out that, oh, you don't quite qualify for that house, it's no other house compares because you already fell in love with that one. So
That's
the key thing is to get pre-approved first, find out exactly what price range you should be shopping in. Or you might even be surprised. A lot of people think, oh, I'm only going to qualify for like $250,000. And then sure enough, they actually qualify for more. So it's speaking to a professional who can help you decipher that specifically. So then you're ready to go house shopping.
There we go. You nailed it. It's so important because you just nailed it when you said you fall in love with the house and then you can't afford it. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
So, okay, good. That's what it is. So, Tanner, now you know what pre-approved means.
And knowing is half the battle.
There you go. Now, we were talking just a little bit before this started. Myself and Tanner, people think this is amazing that we're actually born and raised here, unicorns. But there's a lot of people. But you're not from Fort McMurray. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Nova Scotia, so I'm
Okay.
a Maritimer.
Okay.
Blue Nose, as my husband refers to us as. I grew up in Halifax. My dad was in the Navy, so grew up there. Lived in Quebec for a couple of years, and then moved back to Nova Scotia. But we've been out west now. It'll be 18 years this summer.
Wow.
We were in Cold Lake for 7, and
Okay.
so the rest of the time we've been in Fort McMurray. So
Okay. Wow.
yeah.
You just gave me a list of questions to ask. Okay, let's do a history review. I remember, I don't know if anybody else is watching TV like I used to back in the day, but they used to have those Canadian history. So I know what a blue noser is. Can you explain what a blue noser is to the people at home? Because
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of kids in Fort Mac who have no idea.
So Blue Nose is those big, beautiful sail ships that we see. So hopefully once you get back to traveling again and we can get back to Halifax, you get to go to the ports and see those big, tall ships.
Yeah.
They actually have events where they'll go, I believe it's around the world if I'm not mistaken, where they'll travel. It's pretty cool.
They're amazing ships.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
So now you moved here. I've spent a little bit of time in Cold Lake. Tell me what you were doing in Cold Lake, though, because some people think Fort McMurray is small. Cold Lake is smaller than Fort McMurray
Totally
dramatically.
is. Yeah.
So, like, what took you to Cold Lake?
Well, my husband decided to join. When we were in Nova Scotia, I was working for the bank. I started my career with CIBC at the contact center.
Okay.
And so my husband had decided to join the military. He was a late bloomer in joining, so he joined later on. And then he finished top of his class, so he got to pick where he wanted to go, and he's always wanted to come out west, and so did I. So he picked Cold Lake, Alberta. So we transferred with the military, and he worked at the Air Force Base. I worked for a competitor for a couple of years because there wasn't a position at CIBC at the time, and then they called me back and asked me to be the branch manager. So I did branch manager role in Cold Lake for 5 years.
Okay.
And then my boss asked me at the time, because he covered this area, to come and manage the downtown location. So I did that. I transferred up here for 5 years. My husband got out of the military.
Yeah.
He actually went back to school, became a power engineer.
Oh, cool.
And then got a job offer up here with one of the oil companies. And so hence our start of our life up here. But our children, our 2 eldest, met their spouses up here. So they're married. They're 5 minute each direction. And then our youngest still lives at home right now. And he just graduated last year from high school.
Hey, that's fun.
Yeah. So Fort McMurray's home for us.
There we go.
I mean, I miss the ocean. I'm not gonna lie. If you could bring the ocean here, this would be the perfect spot for
There
me.
you go.
I'd
Well, we got the
be-
Snai. We got the Snai and the Athabasca.
Yeah.
Gregoire Lake is pretty much an ocean, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, for us.
Yeah.
Okay, now you said something else. You're super interesting. Okay, you worked at a call center.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, the East Coast, New Brunswick area is known for call centers.
Yeah.
Moncton.
And Halifax has,
That's
because
right.
they have the technology.
So explain that to me. What does that mean? People keep telling me, yeah, we have the technology. Like, it's a phone. So what do you mean you have the technology?
I don't know all the specifics around it, but I
Yeah.
believe they just had the fiber optics and the capability and the population to be able to support call centers.
Okay.
So we started. The one in Halifax is the size about 3 football fields put together. The last time I was there. Now, granted, it's been a few years since I've been there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's quite large, and you have like different pods you work in. You work different shifts, and yeah, so that's how I started my career at the bank. answering the phone and saying, thank you for calling CIBC. This is Jen. How may I help you? And because we're 24/7. So I've worked different shift works. And then I worked in different positions. Like I did training. I was a team leader. I worked in the support department. Like it was a really great way to develop the skill set that I have, because I've been in banking. It'll be 25 years this coming May. So
Right, 25 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the call center thing is fascinating to me.
yeah.
In regards to like you just blew my mind saying like there's football fields of people just hanging out on their phones. Doesn't that get I'm easily distractible to say the least. So like when you're hearing other people, how do you like are you guys in cubicles or like
Yeah, so typically, like again, it's been 17 years since I've been there, but the way that the center was set up is a pod of 3.
okay?
But you have your own like areas, so you have your own little corner that you work in, and
Right.
you do hear the person beside you, but you just get so accustomed because you have your earpiece on.
Right.
They have, believe it or not, they had, what they told us is that they had noise cancellation lights, and
Okay.
and the setups with the pods that the way that they were designed, so it made it so you never really heard the person beside you. You were just more focused on
Right.
this individual on your phone. And honestly, you're so busy
Yeah.
that it's call after call. So the calls, you wrap up your call, and then the next thing you hear a ding, and then you have your next call in your ear.
Yeah.
So you're pretty busy.
Yeah, it might be, and this is my background is human resources, so like I like to study different careers. It might be the busiest legit job on the planet. In
Yeah,
regards,
there's no idle.
there's no idle time. You're just
No.
like they're feeding you phone calls. So
Yeah.
like the average worker, if you work like a 8-hour workday, you might be putting in 5 hours.
Here there's no
Maybe.
Yeah, there's no like you might had like at first I should stand back correct that a little bit. When I first started, it was fairly quiet at first
Right.
because it was just getting into the new thing, telephone banking, because people were still going into the branches and people were hesitant in calling us and
Yeah.
seeing what we had to offer.
Yeah.
So, but once it got going, it was flat out. I remember Canada Post had a big strike, and then
Always.
yeah. So there was no mail coming in, and I remember looking up and seeing the call volume, thinking, "Oh my gosh, are we gonna be able to answer all these calls in a day?"
Right.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No doubt.
yeah.
Like you said, 17 years ago, it pays relatively well too for the work that you're doing.
Yeah, it was really good. It was very comparable to what you were getting paid at the branch level. And
Yeah.
then you did get different shift premiums if you worked different, kind of like here,
Right.
if you work the night shift and stuff. And then they started doing dedicated shifts. And so there was lots of little changes that happened. So it was really cool. The last position I had at the call center, it's called the IQ. So if you called and asked to speak to a supervisor, you'd speak to me. Or if a sales representative needed help finding something, the customer asked them a question, they didn't know where to find the answer, they would call this particular department. And I was the person with the least seniority. So unfortunately, I got the really bad shift. I was working with staff that had like 20 plus years with the bank, and I
Right.
had at the time maybe 4 years when I started in that department. But I
Yeah.
was a quick learner, so I learned really quickly and found resources very fast. And obviously, they gave me this opportunity, which I was very grateful for. And so my shift was like, I think it was like 2 to 10. And I worked every weekend, and I had Tuesdays and Wednesdays off. So but it was like a job I absolutely loved, and I didn't want to give it up. My kids were little at the time, but we made
Right.
it work. It was definitely a transition, but I did it for a set period, and then we got posted
Right.
out west. So
Fascinating. You're the first person I've ever talked to in real life who's worked at a call center. And
Oh,
it's
cool.
like, yeah, it's been something we'll change the topic because I could talk to you about this one forever, but that is so cool.
It was very cool. I'm very grateful for CIBC for that opportunity, because I learned, hence why I have a lot of knowledge about banking and about
Right.
processes and stuff. So that really helps my clients that are calling me about mortgages and stuff. So I'm able to pass on that
No
knowledge
doubt.
to them. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Fort McMurray for a little bit before we get into the Mac City Minute. You've been here for a while.
Mhm.
You obviously could go back east. You could go back to Coal Lake. What keeps you in Fort McMurray? Why? Like, and you're a pretty big advocate of Fort Mac. You're out and about a lot. So
Yeah, I love this community. I love the people here. And here feels like home. Like I'm sorry to my friends, family back home, but it just doesn't feel like home anymore. Like we go home and it definitely feels like a place that I miss. Like I miss the ocean, I miss our family and friends, but this place here is what calls me home. Like my kids are here, my two grown children, like they're married and have the starting their own lives, and a grandma of one, my little buddy Drake, gives me an opportunity to see him and be a part of his life. And this community just speaks to me. It's just, I feel like we're all from different pieces of the world, and this community just draws us closer because a lot of us are here without family. So when we first moved here, we had no family.
That's right.
And then obviously our family has grown as the kids have gotten married. So I'm very grateful for that. But really, our friends become our family, and your neighbor is, you just need to reach out and be willing to help them out a little bit more, just like you would for family, right?
Awesome. There you go. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, we're going to hit you up with the Mac City Minute. This is Tanner's segment. I have no idea what he's going to ask you, so best of luck to you. Tanner, hit her with the Mac City Minute.
Question number 1. What is one thing you enjoy doing in your free time that most people don't know you do?
Oh,
That's a
that's
hard
a
one.
really good question. I love camping. It's probably something I don't talk about. Those that are really close obviously do know that I love to camp, but I love being outdoors. I love sitting by an open fire. In fact, yesterday we did some quadding. That's not really my thing. My husband loves it, so we got to do that and went to a point where literally it was like overlooking the Snai, and it was just absolutely beautiful. It's just hard to believe this little piece of nugget is in our little neck of the woods, and it was literally just out in Sapri. It's probably 5 minutes from where we store our side by side, and had a nice little fire and some smokies and just relaxed. It was awesome. So love being outdoors.
Question number 2. What is the most creative thing you've seen on the run for the cure?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. I'd say probably some of the great costumes that people come all decked out in. Last year was a little bit different, our run, because it was more virtual. So people still did the run at the same time. We still did everything was done over the internet. But the previous years is the costumes. I love seeing effort that people put in to really deck themselves out in pink. I love calling the Run for the Cure. It's like a sea of pink. And it's very moving. Like if you've ever been to an event, it's just incredible seeing all these people come together for such a great cause.
Question number 3. What is the best part of doing what you do in Fort McMurray?
Oh, it's helping people get into homes. Like it just brings me such joy. Honestly, I feel like every home that is purchased, I feel like that's a part of me, like a part of my journey of helping someone make that a possibility. I generally just get just as excited about the approval as they do. It just feels good to make a mark in someone's life and helping them make one of their biggest purchases come true.
Question number 4. What was the biggest draw of coming out west?
It was an opportunity for us to try something new and different. We love being in Nova Scotia. It's great, but it's definitely more of a hustle there from a standpoint of the opportunities are just not the same. So if you come out west, you're given opportunities that you perhaps wouldn't be exposed to at such an early stage in your career. So I feel like here just gives you that opportunity to really grow and expand. So I'm very grateful for Fort McMurray for that.
And your final question. What was the most interesting call you received while working at the call center?
Great question.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, this is not my call, but it's the funniest one ever. And it was this lady that was convinced that we could accept cash over the phone, right? She literally said, well, you said you guys could do everything possible. And the call ended up getting escalated to my colleague, Mario. And he was trying to convince her that it literally was not possible, but she wouldn't take it. She was just convinced that he was lying to her. So finally he said, okay, press pound three times and slide the cash under the phone. And then there was this long pause, and then she started laughing, and then she was like, I am mortified that I even thought that that was even possible. So bless her heart. For at least she came to realization that we physically couldn't take the cash.
Those have been your 5 questions.
That's awesome, Tanner. I was hoping you were gonna ask like one of those, and I didn't want to steal it. Great question, Tanner. Great question. Yeah, no, that like the call center life. That's to me is just that's fascinating. That is fascinating. So you said you have a number of children here. What schools did they go to? Me and Tanner love to know about schools.
Our daughter, when we moved here, she was in grade 11 from Cold Lake, so she went to Westwood. She graduated in grade 12 from Westwood.
Okay.
And then Owen went to École Boréale, which is just down here, so because I'm bilingual, so
Okay.
and he went to there, and then transitioned to McTavish,
Okay.
because they didn't have a grade 7 program at Boreal, but they transitioned over to McTavish. But we had made a decision as a family to put him back into the English, integrate him back into the English program. So he went to McTavish, and then he tried Westwood, and then he ended up graduating at Father Mercady.
Ooh, Father Merck. Okay.
Yeah.
And then your youngest one.
Yeah, that's the youngest.
Oh, that's the youngest
yeah,
one.
my eldest graduated in Cold Lake.
Oh,
Yeah, so
gotcha.
and then Larissa, she graduated from Westwood, and then Owen was Boreal, McTavish, Westwood, and Father Mercady. So
Very
he's
cool.
made his way around a few schools.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very neat. All right. Well, listen. That's the end of the show. That's 20 minutes. It flies.
Wow, crazy.
Everybody thinks there's, I'm nervous. How's this going to go? I'm like, trust me, 20 minutes goes by really quickly. So I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. I know you've been an early adopter of the Mac City Morning Show, commenting, getting involved. So thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. I tell everybody this, and some people take me up on it, actually. But I want you to come back again and again and again. So anytime you want to come back, that seat is open for you.
Well, I super appreciate this opportunity. Perhaps maybe closer to the Run for the Cure. That
That's
would be
it.
great to promote the run.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, before I cut you loose, though, one more shameless plug for yourself, please. Tell all the people at home who you are, how they can get in contact with you, and how they can support your business.
Awesome. Thank you again. Super appreciate this opportunity and for promoting people in our community, because we have amazing people. Again, my name is Jennifer Aulenbach. You can find me on Facebook. You can actually Google my name, Jennifer Aulenbach. My cell phone number always pops up. You can text, call, email. I'm always happy to answer mortgage questions, or message me on Messenger. Those ones seem to take a little bit longer, so definitely try calling or texting first for sure.
There you go. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, Fort McMurray, that's another show in the can. My name is Elliot Pierre. This has been the Mac City Morning Show. I want to thank you all for tuning in. It does really mean the world to me. And hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.